Hello and welcome to the Startups of London podcast. I'm your host Ozan and the founder of Startups of London. Today, I'm joined by Sahin Caglayan, co-founder and CEO of Faradai, which is building the future of internet energy, utilizing cloud, big data, AI, and IoT technologies. They are a London-based, fast-growing tech company, and they have 4 different offices all around the EMEA region. Welcome, Sahin. It's great to have you here.
Hello, hi Ozan. Thanks for having me in your
So,
podcast.
tell me about the story of Faraday so far. I love that it ends with an A and an I, so you
Yeah.
definitely know that it's an AI company. I realized it started off as another brand which I heard of before, Riengen, but I don't know the
hmm
story, so I would love to hear your end.
hmm Yeah, all the story begin with our actually research after the university, graduate research. We were doing our master thesis as 3 co-founders in different components of energy transformation, digitalization, decentralization, and decarbonization. So we saw the gap in the industry during our academic research. And after that, we had several experiences in different corporate companies in the US, in Germany, in Turkey. And we really like crystal clear, pinpoint what can be done in this digital energy transformation and the sustainability trend. That is how we focused on a AI-powered platform supporting all the enterprises, enabling them, empowering them to transform their sustainability ambitions into critical business outcomes to reach their climate goals. You know, all the enterprises are having 2030, 2040, 50 zero emission goals. So, but none of them, let's say, most of them don't have any idea about how they're going to realize it. They don't actively implementing their sustainability strategies today. So this is going to be a huge topic. There are going to be huge implications around it. So we focus on that. We help enterprises to collect their critical energy, environment, sustainability, and operational data from their facilities. We kind of bridge the gap between the data that they have, these businesses have, and the insights, actionable insights they need to extract from it. In a way, we are kind of the intelligent energy operating system for enterprises.
I love it. It's great actually. Something I realized as an entrepreneur myself and having built a few companies, sometimes the problem in the market does not necessarily mean it's a need or it's a desire to purchase a product for the company. For example, I've worked in the area of company culture, and that was one specific case in
Mhm.
which I know for a fact because I studied on that topic, and my background goes to sociology and psychology. So I know, just as you did in energy, that there is a need for this, but the desire and the need on behalf of the decision maker was not there. So these things are not synonymous. So my question, I guess, here is, yes, you have realized a gap in the markets for more smart energy products and a room for, let's say, optimization. But how did you actually validate that companies would actually pay for this and there was a need for there?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great question. That is one of the biggest challenges of early stage startups. They build the products. Maybe some of them, like, they don't target the real business pains. So we knew it from our previous experiences. That is why we built the product with the customer. In our early stage, we worked with big enterprises, customers, get their feedback continuously when we are building the product, because we know that there are
That's
like
great.
hundreds of thousands of different startups, really great engineers, technical people. They are building great tools, but they don't necessarily target a big business pain and or let's say great business opportunity. So knowing that, we work with customers, we work with partners, and also our corporate experiences before and starting the startup helps us a lot about positioning ourselves, differentiating ourselves, and also starting with the niche. Like, there are a lot of stuff to do, but you need to start with some vertical in order to scale fast and become a category leader. So as a startup, your biggest strength is the speed and focus and the technical depth. So we had a good picture about how to start, what to target, and the first customers we worked with were really important for us because they were leading institutions in their own domains, in banking, in retails, in hospitality, in manufacturing. So they become like a best practice for ourselves. We also had experiences in Silicon Valley. We spent a year in Silicon Valley. We were exposure to that product-led culture, that we had that mind shift because we tend to have engineering, custom solutions, consultancy, different kind of tailor-made stuff when we talk with the customer. But we in Silicon Valley we got the know-how, that mind shift for putting the software and digital technologies like AI, cloud, big data at the very core of your business. Even if you are working in energy or other domains, if you put these exponentially growing technologies to core of your business, you're going to surf on that and you're going to grow your business as well in a scalable manner.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah, that helped us a lot.
I love what you just said. And this is something I've observed as well. The growth of your business has a lot to do with the growth of the category your business is in. So the market is growing and your business is doing well. That's the best combination. But in the case you are doing perhaps a great business in a shrinking market, it's just so hard. It's rowing against the tide, and it doesn't work for a lot of startups. But I just would like to expand on what you said there in terms of working with the clients, in terms of understanding their needs and so on. So what does it actually look like? Do you have day-to-day meetings with the team and the client? How do you collaborate with them? How do you get the feedback from them? Is it just something that happens once every 3 months, 6 months, or is it more integrated way of working? Because I think in theory it sounds great to say like we get customer feedback and so on, but I'm really curious on how exactly in practice it worked for you.
It has to be like continuous, ongoing manner. I know that the product development in your office, in your, let's say, headquarters, together with your friends is compelling, but going into the field, talking with real users like facility managers in our case, or energy managers, technical managers, maintenance managers, who are gonna like having the real problem, real pain, and they have really like great insights about the really essence of the problem. So that's how we achieved to do that. Actually, we had some POCs and some sales before we built the product. So that really pushed us to develop the product really fast, in a way, selling it before building it.
That's the best case.
That's
every founder's
tricky.
dream.
That is tricky kind of, but you gotta hack some stuff to grow your startup. And also that is a good indicator that your value proposition, your product has let's say a mirror image in the customer, as it targets, it addresses a need. So it's like a tournesol paper. So we start with that, talking with the customer, understanding their needs, and also shaping the product, that project, in a way that we can apply it to other customers in that domain. So from day zero, we know that we're going to have multiple clients in multiple industries and in multiple countries. So that is how we shaped our scalable horizontal platform, which can be customizable, and also hardware agnostic, system agnostic, for integrating all the systems of different facilities and performing analytics in a scalable way. And also the dashboards, UI, the reportings, the actionable intelligence part, the feedback part. We also make it customizable so that different stakeholders can customize it themselves for a much, let's say, to the point feedback mechanism.
That's great. I love it. And while we're at it, so what is the core product? Perhaps you have more than one, but I'm curious to how it exactly works. How do you gather the data? It has to do with, I know, IoT and AI, of course, but is it the case you, perhaps as a company, insert some sensors for to the field where your customer is using the services and etc. Or do you just gather the data they have? As is it just a digital product? Does it have a hardware component? So how does that work?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you said, it has mostly digital components, but also we integrate it with the physical world. It's like a cyber physical system. We started with like an IoT company, but then we become on the way as a SaaS software-based cloud service provider. So this transition did not happen really fast. It takes around 3-4 years. Our product itself, it centralizes all the utility and environmental data to more efficiently manage and monitor the cost, energy cost, and the performance, allowing all the like real estates, retails, banking, hospital chains, shopping malls, hotels, manufacturing facilities, logistic chains to quickly pinpoint the opportunities to optimize their sustainability performance. We track their progress. We track all their utility bills. We connect their data automatically and plug into their existing systems as well. If there is no system at all, we install our own sensors and hardwares that we provide from the subcontractors. The main IP here that we provide is our patent pending the cloud-based energy and sustainability intelligence software. That is our main core platform. It is hardware agnostic. It can work with hundreds of different sensors, meters, third-party automation, SCADA, management systems, ERP, CRM systems. So that is how we become like an interoperable, horizontal, open platform for energy and sustainability intelligence.
That's great. So in terms of the software, that is the proprietary technology that you have here. So what does that look like? Is it a neural net kind of a model? Is it like a machine learning model? And I'm out of my depth here because I'm not a developer and I'm not an engineer. So perhaps you might explain it in layman's terms. But I'm very curious and interested to those topics. So, and I think a lot of the people who listen to our podcast are. So how does the software side of things work? What type of a framework do you use, and what is the valuable software you have there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the main core platform is a cloud-based, scalable architecture platform, which is designed to handle millions of sensor data, time series data, transaction in real time. So we invested a lot in this architecture for like different layers, including device connectivity, data processing, analytics, data management, and the visualization of that data. And on top of this platform, we have all the machine learning applications, helps our users to turn all these operational and energy data to detect abnormalities or predict their energy load, predict their budget, and have better decisions for energy procurement. It's like a decision support mechanism for all their energy and sustainability related issues. Then we added sustainability intelligence on top of that energy intelligence. Now we can cover 360 degrees of end-to-end data collection, analytics for energy and sustainability, carbon footprint, and all the net zero, managing net zero projects and tracking their projects, benchmarking, and also having some powerful and easy to use emission factor database for customers to make estimates to save some time and some operational efficiency. So that become like an SAP of energy and sustainability. When during the journey, we started with a really niche with energy analytics, but now we become the SAP of energy and sustainability.
That's really interesting. I'd like to switch gears here and ask you about a personal question. So, is Faraday, or previously known as Riengen, is your singular focus, or do you have other side projects, cooking, consultancy gigs, freelancer stuff, and so on? And I'm asking this question precisely because in this new industry with the Great Resignation and so on, people are in different stages in their lives, and perhaps I would love to hear your answer also considering the fact that like there is this myth, I believe, like back in 2005, 2006, so those years, back in the days where we were like enamored with the stories of the Facebooks and the Googles and etc. That like they were incredible growth companies in 2010s and even up to 2015s. But then I think something different happened, and people have realized, and some people have not realized yet, but will realize, it doesn't take 6 months, it doesn't take 1.5 years to build as profitable business. It takes much longer. So, so two questions I think packed into one. One of them, how long does it take to build a profitable business in your perspective? And the second one, is this your singular focus?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you on how long it takes to create a profitable and sustainable business. In my opinion, it can take up to like 10 years. So you gotta span at least 10 years of your career in order to have a really like high growth, sustainable, scalable business in terms of sales engine, marketing engine, product engine, as well as the talent culture. So
10
that
years.
was
That's quite a bit. 10 years.
yeah. What I think is establishing that product culture, that growth culture, is not that easy job. You gotta focus on these verticals in order to have in-depth progress. So in our case, we have been commercially active for the last, let's say, 4 to 5 years. But before that, we did a lot of engineering consultancy and different kind of projects with the same team. Then we understand the real value in product-based businesses, and we pivoted into a product company. So
I
in a
see. Okay.
lifetime of a startup, there are, of course, several pivots. So these pivots should give you a lot of, let's say, insights about what you are doing wrong, how can you improve your business. So that is in our case, without bankrupting, without failing, we did at least 3 pivots in our businesses for the last 6 years, let's say. That is how we become successful, I believe. We really like act really fast upon the changing dynamics, and then become like a globally scaling startup. So that is what I think about building sustainable businesses, and it takes focus and really like putting a lot of efforts. In my case, personally, I also have some side hustles besides Faradai, but mostly they are like having ecosystem development hats in NGOs, non-governmental organizations, like building entrepreneurship ecosystem, or building, let's say, information society, like Turkish Information Foundation or similar NGOs. That is what I do to motivate myself as well, to create also network ecosystems. And I believe in return, these kind of side hustles come back to you as a success in your own hustle, in your core focus. If you are like totally focusing on your core project and don't having interactions with the outside world, don't getting feedback, or don't meet new people, I think it is a tricky situation. It is a dangerous situation. In our case, we want all of our employees, not just the co-founders, to exposure different ideas, different startups, different platforms and ecosystems, and bring all these insights to the company and merge it like a cultural melting pot in order to have a much more successful, let's say, mechanism and engine.
The unspoken deals we have with the people we work with is incredibly valuable. It's also a competitive edge, I think. Um, I was listening to this TikTok by Simon Sinek. He just popped on
Mm-hmm.
my feed. So I know the guy, obviously. I've listened to a lot of his other content, but he mentions this specific thing about Navy SEALs and how they recruit for new people. And like there's this two-dimensional, two-axis graph. On one axis is competency, on the other one is trust. And so their test is: would I be able to trust my kids and my wife and my money with my comrade here, my teammate here? Is
Mm-hmm.
there kind of a test of can I trust this person? And then apparently, according to Simon Sinek, they prioritize even if someone is not the top performer, but if they rank really high on the trust scale, then that's a potential recruit. But if they are incredibly competent in terms of their physical strength, athleticism, and so on, but lack in trust, then it's a no-go. I thought this was relevant to what you just told me because I think there are different ways people and companies are formed. There are different unspoken contracts between people, and some of them revolve around a certain product focus. So you gather a few people, you say, we are going to build this product, we know the need, we're going to get some investment. So it's a partnership built around building that product. And if that product doesn't work, and the partnership is essentially over. But in your case, I think it's a different, a more trust-based way of doing business, which I also like and prefer, to be honest. Which is, and tell me if I'm wrong, is this accurate? Is so you and your team and your co-founders are a group of people who trust each other, and it's not entirely built around a single product, but you do business together, you learn together, you grow as a company, and some of your focus is consultancy, but also some of your focus is building product. Is that the case? Is that an accurate situation of where you are?
Yeah, pretty well defined. The a common definition of a startup. A startup is a temporary organization searching for a repeatable and scalable business model. So in our case, of course, the founders have to have some passion around that big problem. That is one of the biggest, I think, most important thing when you start a startup. In our case, having passionate founders and also having that growth mindset, like that Silicon Valley growth mindset, as you mentioned about the Navy SEALs, targeting 10x growth rather than a 10% improvement in one area. So that I think helped a lot in for our growth and for
Mm-hmm.
our sustainable operation. The we also like we also challenged ourselves a lot positively with all the sincere appreciation, positive challenge, constructive feedbacks. We provide such a culture around the company so that we everybody knows that the growth they have during their startup journey is the multiplication of the size of the problem they are attacking and how strict, how fast they attack to that problem. So we are going all in as it is the only thing we should solve. we focus in a vertical, and it brings the solution itself with failing a lot, having a lot of regrets, having a lot of failures. But we know that it is not that important to have failures, because which is more important is the mean time to repair. No matter
Mm.
how many times you fail or you fall, but if you have a short mean time to repair, MTR, as in the abbreviation,
Yeah.
you can just learn about your failure, and you can continue and fail forward. So as co-founders and the leadership team of the startup in Faradai, we bring such a cultural DNA to the company, and that's I believe helped a lot when onboarding new people, so that they also think like us as co-founders. I believe that brings a lot of strength when we are growing our company, having these kind of like-minded, similar culture people and leadership team in the company.
I have so many other questions for you, but I'll just ask one of them because we are running out of time.
Mhm.
You work across a lot of geographies, and not only that, but you've also, as you mentioned, spent some time in Silicon Valley and seen the culture there, the product focus, the growth focus, and now you're in the UK, and this is something I'd love to chat about always. So, what are your observations when it comes to the differences between London, the UK market versus the US and versus other places in the world? So, what are your observations regarding how it is like to build a startup? What are the good and what are the bad things?
Mhm. Yeah, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Having a startup, building it in Turkey, in UK, in US, of course, in Turkey, you don't have that much funding alternatives like big ticket sizes or a lot of investors. So it is challenging to get investment. But Turkish ecosystem is good for building your product, finding your product market fit in a low cost, attracting great talents, having retention in terms of that. So it's a good laboratory
I
to
see.
find your product market fit. But then if you want to scale globally, you gotta be in one of the hubs, like in US, in Silicon Valley, or in London, depending on what you are doing, what you are working on. It really differs. Being in London, I see that it is not a challenge, not a problem to attract funds, because there are huge amount of funds all around you. You gotta show your growth, show your passion and traction to the investors continuously, so that they believe in you and the product. So that is the only thing you have to do. That is how we attracted funding in UK much faster with bigger ticket sizes. During my stay in Silicon Valley, I got the idea that the abundance mindsets, the abundance of money, talent, and so on, it really like motivates all the like entrepreneurial people there to target really huge problems,
Hmm.
like moonshot problems. I believe the main cultural difference is that having abundance mindset and the opposite. In developing countries, your dreams are not that big as well. But if you are like building your company, if you got the culture or education in US, that also changed your preconceived notions, your DNA, let's say, and you build bigger purpose products and global scale products rather than local and singular products. So I believe the US culture, Silicon Valley culture, gives people that abundance and scalability perspectives.
Shahin, thank you very much for joining this session with us. I've enjoyed the chat immensely, and I think a lot of very valuable bits for potential founders, fellow founders who are building their startups, entrepreneurs, or even people in the wider tech ecosystem. So again, thank you for joining today.
Yeah, great to be talking with you. Thanks a lot for having me.